Welcome to Heart and Soul, the podcast where we empower and inspire women to lead their best lives, harnessing the power of their hearts and souls. We are Mariah
and Monique,
your hosts and guides on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
In each episode, we will dive deep into topics that matter most to you, from self-love and confidence to career development, relationships, and everything in between. We believe that every woman has a unique strength and inner wisdom waiting to be unleashed.
Join us as we cover insightful heart and soul-centered topics and interview incredible women who've overcome challenges, chased their dreams, and found their true purpose. Through all of this, you will discover practical tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
For whatever season of life you're in, this podcast is your safe space to explore, learn, grow, and possibly even laugh and cry with us. So grab your headphones, maybe your favorite drink, and we'll embark on this transformative journey together.
With heart, I'm Mariah.
And with soul, I'm Monique. So I am so excited to be interviewing such an amazing woman, Anna McGee. I remember the first time I saw you, and Mariah will share her story too. It was at this like little place called Faces, maybe, or no?
Phase 2?
Yes, that's
Okay.
yeah, Phase 2, and
The
like
health club?
yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's.
I mean, it was like 90s,
yeah.
like way back in the day, and I saw you, and I was like, who is that? She's a really impressive specimen of a human. You just like had it all together, and you looked, and I just like, then I followed you to Gold's Gym, and I would take your classes. Like, you were my religion for a while.
Wow.
Like all the step aerobics classes, you know what I mean? It was just like so awesome. You are the best. And so I'm really, really honored to have you here. And I just wanted to say, like, I've been a fangirl since the 90s of you and your work. Yes.
I did not know that.
Secretly, I stalk you from afar.
You're going to learn a lot today on this podcast.
I can't wait.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my story is that I would go to the protein pub about a block up across from the Y, and in the back of the protein pub was a little gym, and I would hear you and the women working out, and there was kettlebells involved, I believe, and I remember like peeking around the corner and being like, wow, that is badass. Like, if I ever decide that I am the market to like get my butt kicked and go full badass on my workout, like I am coming right here. And I just like, I remember someone saying, oh, that's Anna McGee. And I was like, I will never forget her name. And I never did. I was like, that's Anna McGee. And I know the first person I will call when I'm ready. I'm still not ready.
I'm right here.
I'm not quite ready.
She's waiting.
I have gotten closer because I signed up and came to the fit day that you
did.
offered in early January, and I loved it. I loved it. I really am going to call you. I'm going to let you kick my butt.
I'm very close by.
Yeah, and you are also just down the street.
Were you born with dumbbells? Like,
So go back to the beginning.
Go back to the
tell us
beginning.
that.
Weights
Like,
in
was
the
this?
womb.
Yeah, was this always your thing?
Well, I'm born and raised here, and I had a mother who had each one. I have two brothers, and she had us all. We took swim lessons, we took ski lessons, we took dance lessons, we took piano lessons, we took baseball lessons, we took. I mean, every lesson that they're
Yeah,
good. She was
athletes.
born in the Depression, so she.
Yeah.
I'm built just like her. She would have been a really good athlete, you know. And she
Yes.
just made sure that her kids got, experience in all these things. And then, at that time, I just had two parents that, I mean, both their sets of parents. One set of grandparents came from Norway, and the other set came from Sweden. So
Wow.
not a lot of talking. Your parents just signed you up. You're in 7th grade now. You're going to go on the swim team, and you're going to go on the basketball team, and you're going to go on the track team. All three of us were just okay. That's what we did, you know. Went to confirmation. We played the sports. We all played piano.
just do what you're told.
Right.
Yes,
And it
yes.
just, that's how, I knew I liked it. I loved being active. And at that, when I grew up, I mean, your mom kind of like kicked you out the door on a weekend, said, come back at 5, you know. And that was
Right?
it.
Right. There's no phones.
No.
You
Right.
don't need to know where you
Right.
are.
You were lucky if
it
you
was
had a
just
TV,
who knows
probably
what
when
they
I
did,
was
or she'd
little.
kick you out when One Life to Live or whatever that soap opera was on. Get out, you know, and you
Be
just
back
did
for
stuff
dinner.
outside. We rode bikes all the time, and
Yep.
there was nothing like today it's a different world today, but
Absolutely.
by high school, by the time I was senior, another good friend of mine, we were both co-captains of every team we were on, and I went away to school for a few years and got into some not good habits that most people do right now, a little too much food and a little too much drink, and gained a lot of weight, and came back here. And prior to that, I worked at a store in the Miller Hill Mall called Advantage Athletics, and that's where I met all the runners. My ex-husband, Jaro from Austin Jaro, and this Minnesota State bodybuilding champion guy worked there, and he said, you should work out. Yes, he said, you should learn how to lift weights. And I was like, man, okay. I did a little bit in sports, but not much back then, and he took me to this gym called North Star, which is pretty much male-dominated. At that time, it was 1982,
Okay.
so it's like 81
Yeah.
maybe, and back when steroids were still legal, there was lots of big boys in there, but he was super kind and just showed me how to do this, the right way to do this. That's the right way to do that. And it was a positive atmosphere for me, and I liked
Nice.
it. And there was maybe one other girl back then. And
Wow.
I liked it and just continued exercising that way. I wasn't like a per se runner. I mean, I ran a little bit for exercise, and then I went to school to be a hairdresser.
Oh, I
And,
didn't know
yes,
that.
I was a hairdresser for 20 years. Yes,
What?
hence the bandana. Anyway, great.
Oh,
I had
secret
no
talent.
And at that point, I'd come back. Before that, I was at North Star, went away, came back, got out of shape, too embarrassed to go back to that gym. And then this facility called Women's Workout World opened up by the Target area there. I'm like, okay, go there, get your ass back in shape kind of thing. And I did, and I worked out there for a while, and there was this class on a Sunday that was called the Super Class, and I'm like, you got to just go there and just do that class. And I did it, and I threw up all the way home because it was too, I was just out of shape. That's me, though. That's my mindset. Like, okay, this is what you did to your body. Anyway, all women, just kind of low-impact classes, and then they said, you should teach. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to teach aerobics. It's embarrassing 'cause from what I saw. I'm like, I'm not that. But then I learned to... I started with some basic classes and liked it. And I like combining the music with the athleticism. I taught more athleticism in my classes, along with years of playing piano and singing in weddings and being in plays and all this kind of stuff. So that's where I kind of like that. People always like
music combined with the activity. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I have lots of people like, your music, you are always on beat every step you take. And I'm like, that's from years of that made me happy. So that's kind of how it started.
I love that.
And so I started as just a women's only gym. That made it for a couple years, and then they closed, and then phase 2.
Yes.
He
Enter
accepted
Monique.
all of the members. Enter Monique. They let all the members there come there and finish their memberships there, which was super nice.
Yes.
And I became the assistant manager and spent 8 or 9 years there, and just keep, working on classes and updating. I would send myself out of my own money to Chicago 2 times a year for big conventions and. To learn, just, there's always something new. I'm very finicky on new stuff. Anyway, I don't like everything. Yes. Because it can get very trendy. So I was really picky on that and stayed there until Gold's Gym opened. They closed. And my boss there said, you can transfer over there. They're going to give you a job there. So, I'm like, you didn't even give me a chance to get, to collect social, whatever,
Unemployment.
I'm like, okay. So went there and
Perpetually
just,
employed.
continued to, I wasn't actually personal training back then. There was not much of that going around.
Yeah, there really wasn't. You're right.
No, I still remember the first guy, he asked me if I trained his wife. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, how can you not figure that out yourself? I mean, that's kind of the mentality. I'm like, how do you not know how to work out?
wasn't the
Anyways,
norm.
Read
so
a
I
book.
didn't really become a personal trainer until the YMCA in 2002.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so you've been a personal trainer for over 20 years.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And tell me this, just to track the story. While doing that, you were also doing hair.
Yes.
And during all of that time working for other people, or were you owning your own business?
I worked at the health clubs and did hair part-time. I was full-time for a while, and then when I started working at health clubs, I did it 2-3 nights a week and Saturdays.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you also then you had a daughter too.
Yeah.
Right?
1990 had Paige, and then 2002 had Joe. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of like a
93,
superhuman.
Yeah. So my kids are 10 years apart.
Okay.
Worked out, exercised through both my pregnancies. I didn't have any problems or anything like that. So, that was good. My son was born with autism, so there was stress there. And at the Y, one of the things, especially with women, because that's who I mainly work with.
Yes.
I just remember, my husband gave me a hard time one day about bad weather and how can you run down there and teach that class. And I was just, you don't get it. I see these women get out of their car, haul their 3 kids into the kids club, go back out, park their car, come back in for maybe an hour of exercise, and they might get a shower. I just always been in tune to that. I just saw that. And
They needed that.
right.
Yeah.
And
They
then
needed you.
it was
Their
fun for me,
sanity.
especially at the Y, just to see these friendships form between the moms and young
Yes.
kids. It was really important.
Yeah. If
to me.
you were building a community, we were,
Right.
we build communities. And
Yeah.
you totally are a community builder.
Yeah, and I took it more seriously than most instructors. A lot of instructors will teach at a gym for their free membership, and I just wanted to make it, it's my deal. I just knew it was my deal. And I'm like, these people trust me for an hour to come in here and, give them the best that I think that I can give them for their bodies,
Right.
And I just always took it really seriously. So
Yes. And we're thankful
Yeah.
you do.
So-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking as I'm hearing
Mhm.
this is like
Right.
how grateful I am
Mhm.
for all the women that you were there for, because that
Mhm.
is a huge part
mhm.
of that mother experience,
Yeah.
being able to drop your kids
Yeah.
off and have an hour to take care of
Yeah.
yourself.
There's a podcast I listen to, and I like these 3 gentlemen that have it because they're kind of old school trainers too, and they do not like anything about group fitness. They're not very shy about that, and but they're trainers, and I see that too. Like people coming into a group fitness class,
Yes.
they're relying on me to like tell them what to
Yes,
do, and
yes.
they might not be the best choice for them as far as an exercise,
Right.
Or say you have a young child and you didn't sleep all last night, but yet women think that, oh, I'm really stressed out. I need a hard workout to de-stress myself. And that's probably the last thing they need. They
Right.
need to
Yeah.
go take a walk and take a sauna, type of
Right.
things.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
Or maybe go back to bed.
yeah, they like the energy of a group fitness. I always had like high energy and just loud music and all that kind of fun stuff. So I got that. But sometimes I'm like, it's probably not the best choice for that person right there. But oh well.
Well, fitness has evolved too.
Right.
Like you were saying,
Mhm.
like 20 years ago, or however many, there wasn't really personal trainers, and now that's what everybody
Right.
does. So
Mhm.
it is very trendy, but
Mhm.
also it's changed too.
Yeah.
And it's meeting people's needs differently.
hmm And women love the community. I mean,
Yes, the
in
community
group
aspect.
fitness, say what you want,
Yes.
just like even spin classes or
Yeah.
not everybody's for that, but
Right.
I mean like running groups. I mean,
Yes.
it's nice to be involved in something that other people are doing, and maybe it kind of sucks. I loved watching people do a hard exercise and they'd look at each other and roll their eyes like, but that's the fun part of it too. You
Yeah.
feel like you're together. And
Well, we are biologically made
Mhm.
to gather.
right.
Women have
Right.
always been gathering and
Mhm.
taking care of everything while men were on the hunt. And
Right.
so we yearn for that.
Right.
It's actually really good for our mental health
Yep,
to be in
sure is.
community and gathering with others.
Mhm.
Tell us more about where you're at today
Okay.
and the gym training facility that you own and
Mhm.
how you ended up going on your own and what you're
Great.
doing now.
Well, from the Y, like when you went and got your shake at the protein
Yes.
pub, it just came about where the 3 of us opened up a shake shop, and it was I can't remember what it was called, but it branched off from there. We sold it, and then the owner from Protein Pub, Tina, bought it, and I just said, I'll take this little middle room and I'll do some kettlebell stuff. My joke was like, I have to have my own private studio to afford to work at the Y.
The
But I
pay's
never
so good.
promoted it. I never talked about it at the Y.
Yeah,
They were
right.
very kind to let me do that, to be honest with you. And I maybe only had 4
And the commute was
classes there.
short.
Very short. They could still sneak across and go take a shower. And I had that. I didn't really build it as a business, but I know that I wanted to do some kettlebell and some TRX and that type of training in
Yeah.
a small group.
Okay.
And then we decided to kind of close up because new owners bought that building and they were going to triple the rent and blah, blah, blah. And so and then my daughter came back from college and she's like, hey, you and I,
Because she's
do
into
a
fitness,
studio.
right?
She was a D1 track athlete, an All-American, and she got to know the hockey coach here in town. And he said, what do you do? And she goes, well, I used to do all the stretching for the track team and this and that. So we had her do that for the boys hockey team, and it grew from there.
Yeah.
That's
So she
amazing.
became the strength and conditioning coach there. So I'm like, oh God, okay, Paige. I was going to be done, but okay. And, so I had a client that owned a building down here, and so we rented this small, place that's not very big, but it's perfect for what I do.
Okay.
I really work with mostly women over 45 now,
Okay.
preferably 50. I have
Mm-hmm.
one class that I started almost a year ago for beginning strength training for women over 50 that have never gone to a place to work out. I mean, I figure like most of them are my age, and I was pretty much the only girl in the gym back then, so I know none of them really
Right.
familiar with that. It scared them, and they don't know what to do, you
Yeah.
know, and I know that I can teach them the right way and what to do, and it's not all this crazy stuff, you know. So, but I had one class going, it filled, now I have 4 of those.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, just with it, yeah. So
The
it's super
demand
exciting. They're
is
super
there.
funny, and I love to hear what comes out of their mouth. One said the other day, "I've never worked out in the winter." You know, just cute things like that. And they're so darn cute. I just love it. I just, you know, so they inspire me to just keep going
Yes.
with that. And I've had some very long-term clients as well that I've learned a lot from. One of my first clients at the Y, I still remember, you know, I was very nervous about putting the perfect workout together for her and all these things. And she was sitting there and she was kind of quiet. And I said, "You okay?" She just started to bawl. I'm like, "Oh God." And me, the Scandinavian, I'm like, "Oh God."
No tears.
Froze. And she's like,
Emotion.
"Why am I so fat?" And I'm like,
Oh,
but it just brought in like everything else from your day comes in
yes.
to a workout, you know, and it wasn't like how many lunges was she going to do that day, you know? So
Right.
it just really, that was probably the best thing that happened to me as far as opening my eyes to
yeah.
that behind the scenes.
Yes.
you
It's a
know?
mental game.
Yeah,
and a
another
physical
client I
game.
had, she was quite heavy, and I went back to the treadmill to meet her there, and she took the long way, and I said, "Oh, you took the long way." She goes, "Well, I can't fit through the equipment, Anna." I'm like, "Note to self, Anna." You know,
Yeah.
just little
Yes.
things like
Yeah.
that
Yes.
that other people just don't.
The accommodations that you need
Yet,
to make.
you know, that I
Yes.
really have been in tuned to.
Yeah. Women's struggles
Right,
at a gym.
very
Right.
much so. And so
Yeah.
my place is it's private, my new place, and you can't get in through an open door. And although I might have 8 to 10 ladies there in these classes, they feel very safe.
Yes.
And it's fun to watch them form relationships as well already,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then now just recently I opened up a private Facebook group, no charge or anything, but just for women over 50. And so we can talk more about private stuff rather than on your regular page and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And that's going well. And
Tell us about how you have chosen to focus on women over 50. I know at the Fit Day you alluded a little bit to your own experience with your mother and building strength. And I'd
Right.
love for you to share more about that.
yeah, for some reason, for me, I've always had this, I can just see into someone a little bit, even back in junior high. Like if there was mean girls, I'm like, "But she doesn't have a nice mom." Just little stuff like that,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
Yes.
and when I had to put my mom in a nursing home, I was just smacked in the face by the nurse at the station that gives out the medications like all day long. And I'm
Oh.
like, and just really paying attention to that. I'm like, what can I do? What simple step can I take today so this does not happen to me? Because it doesn't have to happen anymore. There's so much research and science out there for women to strength train, and you know, they don't like to know that their bodies are changing because they are. It's just hormones and all that. They just are meant to change. It's
Yes.
it's going to
Evolution.
happen.
Yes.
So we have to change a few things, and they
Yes.
battle it. Like, I don't, you know, I got to do this, and I got to. I said, well, it's for your better health. It's for like, none of us picture, even me, a little bit. I don't picture when I'm 80 a little bit. I do so now a little bit. But what you're doing right now is going to be, you don't really start to take care of yourself, you're going to be there, and I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You know, so
So
if I can maybe eat a little more protein, I'll do that. Or if I can maybe not have one drink one night, I'll do that. You know, just little steps like that are huge. And the whole strength training thing, and it doesn't have to be crazy. Like these ladies are coming once or twice a week and they're getting awesome results. So it doesn't have to be, I mean, I'm a fitness fanatic. I love it. I want to be around it, but not, well, you know, I know that most people don't. They just
Right.
want to like, hey, I want to do the right thing,
Yeah.
get my work in, and then go, you know, do my
And
life.
that's so much why I wanted to have, I personally, and we both wanted to have you on as a guest, is that message that you share about, like, it doesn't have to be intimidating.
No.
And as we both shared from our stories of knowing you, it's like you do give off this just amazing aura of fitness and passion. But you are, when you get to know you, you're not intimidating because you do see into people and you can make it bite-sized chunks.
Right.
Right. And that's so amazing to know exists, and why we want to encourage women to find these leaders in their community and in women's health and fitness. Find someone that can help you do anything.
Yeah.
Well,
in
and
those
like you,
small chunks.
yeah, like you were saying too, with the beginner classes, like meeting them at the level that they're at.
Right.
Because like if like how I think I was in my 30s when I walked into your first aerobics class, I couldn't do that now, right? So,
Right.
and if that was all that was
Right.
available to me, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm just out to pasture.
Yeah.
I guess I just,
Yeah.
and
Can't
I
do
guess,
that.
could I get there eventually? Yes. But do I want to? No, too, because like, I don't want to work that hard on my body because it hurts.
Well, and is
Right.
that the best thing for your body?
Right.
At
Not
this age.
when you're over 50, you need smart work,
Yeah.
but not as
Right.
much as you think.
Yeah.
Tell
that's
us
good
more
to know.
about that.
Yes,
Talk to us
please.
about at different ages. What do you really need?
Well, I
most?
probably in my 40s, like there's a couple younger girls that still come to me and they're like, you still have so much muscle. I said, I built my muscle in my 40s,
Okay.
but it's not impossible to do when you're 50 and even 60. Because I have a couple 70-year-old ladies that come.
Wow.
And it just takes maybe honing in on what they nutritionally get in. per day.
Okay.
And not a big difference, I mean,
Mhm,
people
little
that go
tweaks.
crazy with diets and stuff, they try to change too much. They think they
Yeah.
have to change
Change it
everything,
all.
and you will fail in a heartbeat. I mean, one of my clients too, I think I told it at Fit Day, she was New Year's, of course,
Yeah.
quit smoking, diet, and exercise 5 days a week. And
Whoa.
I told her, I said, well, we're not going to quit smoking. She's like,
Yeah.
well, we're not going to do that, and we're not even going to worry about food. We're just going to go to the gym maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Because you're overhauling your life.
Yes.
Said you're not even taking into consideration drive time to the gym, changing at the gym, working out,
Right.
and walking through a grocery store differently, going home and making different food a different way. Not that it's, you look at, people don't realize that.
Yes.
So,
Huge adjustments.
huge adjustments
Yes.
and baby steps. But we're in a society now where we want fast.
Yeah.
We want a shot. We want a pill.
Yes.
And it's not really the answer for the long haul.
It's not
But I
sustainable,
get it.
right,
I,
yeah.
I totally get it. But
So in your 40s, you can build muscle. What about like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s?
Well, your bodies are young and just resilient, and
Yes.
it's just even if your body's not, your brain is. You know what I mean? You're like, I can do that.
Totally. Yep.
I mean, there's a couple moves that I used to do in a YMCA class, like, gee, you don't do that Bozu jump forward push-up thing. I'm like, do not do that anymore. Like, why not? Just don't do it anymore. My 57-year-old body does not want to do that anymore, so just take it out. So I get that. There's so many things I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
But there's so many things I can.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, the huge rage right now is like walking, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's not weight
Yeah.
training by any means, but it's just, and which is in a way sad because that means we're just not moving anymore because of our bones and we just sit more.
Yes.
And a lot of women, we do put on weight gain. You can. We kind of use it as an excuse with menopause and perimenopause. And yeah, there are times there when your hormones they're out of whack. I get it, where you're not sleeping well and your cortisol levels are up because you're not sleeping well. And that affects, your body fat and where it lands and all that kind of stuff. But so just, overdoing it
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
is not where it's at,
Yes.
and maybe
Yes.
dialing in on your nutrition, which is not, I've never been about hungry. If there's one thing, I've done 4 bodybuilding shows way back in the 90s and before it got weird kind of thing. It's weird now. I didn't wear makeup or anything, to put it that way, or
Okay.
fake boobs
Now
or
it's a
anything
beauty
like that.
pageant or something.
Right.
Right.
I mean, whose legs don't look good in high heels? I mean, seriously, right? I'm just like, I was barefoot, But the guys that helped me from Golds or Phase 2, they were normal, and they just said, you want to eat as much food as you possibly can and lose weight.
Mm.
So
What a
that's why
concept.
yes.
Interesting.
So you lose it slow, you hang on to your muscle that way, and you
Yeah.
lose body fat, but that's not the fast way.
Yeah.
But it works for me because
Right.
I don't like being hungry. Ask anybody that's been around me hungry. It is. I'm not a pretty sight at all.
It's not good.
I like the
Not
sounds
at
of
all.
that because,
Right.
not being
But that's a
hungry
slower
is
way, but
really
it
hard.
stays off and you learn a lot about yourself, what you like. It's not important to, give up everything you like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
it's a lot of self-awareness and
Yes.
dialing in. And I've had lots of people just tell, what do you eat? I'll eat what you eat. I'm like, you won't eat what I eat, because I had to figure out what worked for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody's different.
Right.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
So
So for someone like me, where do I start? Obviously, call you. Get an
Right.
appointment.
Because you live in the same town.
Yeah. Also, if
You're
you're
half a
not,
block
if you
away.
don't, if you don't live down the street and have an obvious answer, somebody listening, somebody listening over 50, they're relating to what we're talking about in terms of looking at the next 20 to 30 years of their life and wanting to live it out the best possible. I'm thinking about my own mom, shout out, because she's definitely listening.
How old's your mom?
68, 69, almost 70. Good question. Where should she start? What should she focus on?
I would definitely do a consultation with someone.
Yeah.
And not necessarily the questions that she might ask, but what, like, if she were my client.
Sure.
I mean,
What would you
ask?
I've
gone from a whole different, like when I worked at the other gyms, they had the questionnaire like, when did you work out last?
Right.
What do you want to weigh? And and it's so not important now. I'll sit down. I don't even have any notes on me. I'll just talk with somebody like, what's your sleep like? Tell me about your day. Do you take water? Do you drink? That's one of the things that like never comes up. Like, women that have maybe a glass of wine every night, which is fine. We might want to challenge that a little bit, like maybe cut back on that. But those are things that just don't come up. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not making good choices at the end of the day just because your brain is tired. Things like that. And just see, check her mobility, how she moves. Instead of throwing weights at her right away, so they'll think they're going to get their butt kicked. It's not about that at all. I love my ladies when they leave and they're like, that's it? I'm like, yep, that's it. And they love that, and and as they've gone on now, we've added a little bit more on. But I mean, the first time I had it, I said, who sat out their car there for a half hour before they came in the door? Like me. I said, so you never have to walk through the door the first time again.
Right. Good point.
And they're like, yeah, you've done it once already. Yeah. And then women have a tendency to think, especially when we're older like this, we need to be perfect at it. We should know what to do. Because, in a way, we know what to do. Like, we know everyone else should just drink more water. Everyone knows they should, all that
eat
stuff.
differently or whatever, right?
But as far as weight training, it's uncomfortable. And you think you should know how to do an exercise, so they've become embarrassed if they can't. I said, you've never done that before.
Right.
I said, when you've had a child and you teach them how to tie their shoes, do they go, oh, I did it right the first time? Right. No, it just takes practice.
So true.
No, it's been fun to watch them just get more confident. That's probably my favorite thing that happens with any age woman is they get stronger and they just kind of walk a little taller. They just do a little bit.
Yes.
And
they feel better about themselves. I think we people feel better about ourselves.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
When you feel good in your own skin.
Yes.
And you kind of, sometimes with the workout, you did something a little challenging. It makes you proud of yourself. I love that.
You talked about, I think it was at the Fit Day too, like carrying grocery bags into your house, like building up the muscle so that task doesn't become difficult.
Yeah.
I think about that, like simple tasks.
Right.
Yes.
And as you age, how much more of a burden it becomes. Yeah. And yet it's not going away.
And that's about living independently.
Yes.
You kind of throw that word around, but nobody really thinks about it. You just think you're going to be able to do it. I mean, I've told these ladies that I said, I thought of you guys when I went down my basement. My newer lightweight vacuum broke, but I had this old one that's 20 years old. I one-armed it up the basement stairs, and you don't think twice about it.
Right.
But yet you come into work out, and all of a sudden you're grabbing 5 pounds weight because you don't, you're not sure. Lifting weights on purpose is different. But you're picking up shit all day long, boxes.
You need those muscles.
Bending over, and that's important.
Yes.
There are people that move out of their house because they don't want to do stairs. I'm like, don't stop doing stairs.
Keep doing stairs.
Don't stop.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is so.
Mm-hmm. But yet that's the first thing. Like, well, they want to move out of the house because it's got stairs. If they need that, then obviously. But that's one. Stairs are part of life.
Stairs are part of life. Mm-hmm. That's so true. And the sleep thing, I think, is really
it's fascinating.
Under focused on, especially how it relates to fitness.
Yep.
But if you're not monitoring your sleep, of course your body and your brain are going to be too tired to do other things.
Yeah. Your decision
making
at the end of the night. That's why many, I don't know if you guys, I caught myself doing that one. At the end of your day and your kids are like, oh, God. And you put them to bed and your brain just wants a rest. So you just want a glass of wine and some Doritos or something. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Cool Ranch.
Right. Yes.
Giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
we know what to get you for
because
Christmas.
your brain it makes your brain, what's
shut
in the
down.
food just shut down. Just gives you like, I get that.
You're feeding that little part of your brain that just wants a break.
I have a younger client I took on now. She's only 38, but she's got a set of twins and another young one. And she's given herself 2 hours a week. She comes into me one-on-one, and she's funny. I said, hon, you're just at war right now. You were at war.
Yes,
and not to say that you hate your life.
Yeah.
I get it. You're giving yourself 2 hours a week. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But she goes, I like that you worded it that way. She goes, I've literally had a person crying in my house since 2021. You know, and you forget that when I'm older. I'm like, yeah, that's hard.
It
you know?
is. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, yes. You don't realize it, so I get that.
Well, it sounds like your gym is a safe place where women can come to be seen by you and be listened to, which is huge, and that you can give them things that they can do, that they can also like handle, because you have to be able to leave there and go back to your normal life.
Yep.
And you're not sending them out feeling like, well, that took me down and now I can't do anything else.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is not the vision that someone would maybe have in their head
But gym, right?
of a gym or a personal training situation. And I think that I wish more and more people could learn and have opportunities like you present, because it's way less scary sounding than
There's
I had this
yes.
the story I'm telling myself in my head about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than going to work out and making all the time in your very like overly charged, overly committed life. And then the person pushes you to the point where you just like, you feel like you're just worthless because you just can't do the thing or whatever. So it's nice that you, like I said, meet people where they're at, because when you do that, then they're like, that was it? Like you said, like, oh, that was it.
Right.
Right? Like that's pretty golden.
Yeah.
That's what I love about personal training one-on-one or a small
Yes.
group like under 4 or like with these ladies, that because they're all kind of in the same boat, you know. Group fitness, my classes that were like 40 to 50 people, it was good, and you had to have this energy. And people always thought I was so badass because I had to be really vocal, you know, and that was part of it.
Control the group.
You know, compared to what I was doing, I sounded way more like, rah, you know, but I'm like, I'm doing 10s. I got 10s here. You're not noticing that, but, you know, but yeah, you had to, there's a certain energy there. But so I love the blend, but now I really like just narrowing that down.
Tell me about running the business of Anna McGee, and now that you're on your own with the business and it's obviously growing, you're, one class turned into 4 classes.
I do have a business coach, and he's very patient with me.
Okay, tell us about that. Tell us about your
well, after COVID, we
journey.
opened right before COVID.
Okay.
Nice. And so then, of course, all this online stuff came up, and I saw this woman who was talking about putting a program together online, and just that's due to COVID. And I hired her, and she was just a couple steps above me as far as a trainer. She owned a gym. And so, I mean, I connected with her a little bit. So she was quite helpful. And just, just the social media aspect of it for somebody my age, I'm like, oh my God. My brain would be like, ugh, and then Paige and I started to do more, and I heard this gentleman on a different podcast, to be honest with you, and he's owned gyms, and he's wanted to work with like real trainers instead of like the fake trainers now. They're like, hey, 21 days and I can get you, and they're making lots of money, but I'm like, I'm not that.
Yes.
I'm not that.
Yeah.
And so I liked him, and he's worked with me, and Paige had to tell him one day. So when my mom just stares at you blankly, her brain is gone. She's out. And he's like, is your brain tired? I'm like, yep, I'm good. I don't know what you're doing right now. She's going to all this analytical stuff on the website. I'm like, you just take that, because that I don't know. I'm learning, but you learn slower, but it's good for my brain. Like when I do crossword puzzles, that's my crossword puzzle. So that's learning, because I mean, when I worked at clubs, I didn't have to build a business, so to speak.
It's a totally different game.
Right.
Yeah, different muscles to flex there.
Yeah,
for sure.
different muscles to flex.
It's different when you put your name on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one nice thing is you can kind of control like what you want to put out. Like now you don't just have to work out whoever comes to your class at the Y. They could be 20 or they could be 60. Now you can personalize and make women midlife like comfortable and make a safe space for them, which is obviously what you're all about. But it does come with its challenges, like reading spreadsheets and projections and the business part, right? For a lot of us. Yeah. Yes.
And it's smaller, so that's better.
Yes.
But just trying to always think in the future a little bit, like, what do I want to be doing? I'm not used to that. Like, what am I going to do at the end of this year? I'm not used to that, even though I do think that way on a personal level as far as your fitness and your health and all these kind of things. So it's just a different way, but I actually like it. It's good for me. So, yeah.
And so you've been in business since 2019 on your own, or
right before that we opened. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
And then went through a really challenging
time
in the world.
Right.
And survived that.
People are like, how did you survive? I'm like, well, we never really closed.
Figured it out.
I knew some good people like, just put a curtain over your window.
People needed
Don't
to
have
get
big
out.
glasses. I'm like, okay.
People needed to get out of the house still.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
That was a really good
I thought it was
time.
funny because the moms would send the kids in the page, but like the moms were like, I'm not coming in. I'm like, really? Okay. No, just kidding. We made it, and I have a very good landlord, and so he worked with me too. So yeah,
That's huge, is having partners
Huge.
in business to help take care of you. And
Yeah.
I know that was
Yeah.
helpful for us
Yeah.
as well.
It's I'm glad it's over, and the world will never be the same like that.
Right.
So that are waiting to go back, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So, but that's when home workouts became. Right after we. So, closed, the world closed down for a while. This gal that I found, she said, you need to do an online program. And that's what I do have still going. Patient, I can't believe it. I'm mostly running it now. It's called Fit for Life. And
Okay.
we do a live workout every day. And it's recorded in this special Facebook group. And
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are a couple, I have a couple old people that have taken class with me for years come because they
Yes.
kind of know what I'm going to do before I'm going to do it. And one's a gentleman that's been with me the longest since phase 2.
Really?
And so he's fun to have. So it's more, co-ed, even though there's not many men in it, but they're great home workouts. I still have about 100 people in the group. And
Well, it does change. People have wanted to work out now from home, and they never decided to go back for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah.
COVID kind of changed that.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
is that something that people, no matter where they live, could participate in?
Yeah, I have people all over. That's Colorado and out on the East Coast, and so
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It's fun.
That's
yeah.
exciting to share here on
Yeah.
the podcast, because people that are listening from all over could find you. They don't have to be in Duluth, Minnesota to work out with you. They could find you on the Fit for Life, and we'll link to that in our show notes so that people can find that.
Yeah, and I teach
but
in a
that's
way where it's more of a
exciting.
group fitness feel. That's why I like to have some others in there, and I kind of talk
Nice.
like I used to talk, so it's not just me doing an exercise. So it's been fun.
I think about where we live too. Snowbirding is a real thing, and so somebody who maybe has been working out with you but goes to Florida,
Oh, I have that.
then they can just keep going
Right,
through your
keep going.
online platform.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty
there are
cool.
workouts you can take to a gym. Like I still have gals that, when everything closed, I did it very quickly within 2 weeks without being prepared. I took all my people from the YMCA and they joined it. So I got, I had,
Yes,
it
you
was
got
a
it
very big
going.
bet then. So I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of said, hey, so I did that, and a lot of them have stuck with me, and a lot of them go to the Y and turn their phone on and do my workout at the Y.
That's amazing.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
you're a brand in yourself.
Yes.
And I mean, Anna McGee, I'll never forget the name. So in that branding of you being able to take that product anywhere, any gym, but get your workout, I think that's genius.
Yeah.
That's
been fun.
That has, I mean, you might just go viral after this podcast.
I was. They're good classes. I'm not going to say they're not. So
Yeah,
they're fun.
that's
We have a little
awesome.
repertoire, funny stuff going on. I tend to say things in a microphone that I probably shouldn't. So,
I love it. I think it's the best
I
part when
know,
you
I
do
know.
that.
That probably, I mean, that makes you so human.
Yeah.
You know, it takes it into a really relatable place.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Oh.
So
So I have one question. What is the thing in your life, looking back, that you're just been the most proud of? Business, personal?
recently, just opening AP training.
Awesome.
I never thought that I would do that. I just thought I'd work at a health club.
Yes.
And it's interesting because when I started working at a health club, I had 50 people in class and got paid $7 a class. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now you're
so-
like, I can actually make more than
Right,
$7.
yeah, right, yeah. Anyway, I just like that was the best, and just how I raised my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daughter just through a divorce and all that, and she's great and got a good head on her. And
She is an amazing person.
Yeah,
You're
my
right.
son, and
yes.
but both of them are.
I
good
haven't
kids,
met.
so I feel
have-
pretty
I
good
don't think
about
I've met Joe.
that.
so,
He's
yeah.
at college and whatnot, so really good about that. And most of the thing I just relate to as far as women, especially now, you're in your 50s or mid 50s, you might have still kids, and yet you probably have parents that are aging. So there was
sandwich. Yes.
I'm sure between the years 53 and 56 for me, I don't remember.
Oh
I had
wow.
my mom was in the nursing home. My dad was at this home, and I went one night there, one night there, one night there, one night there, one night for years, just doing a lot, just so I
That's a lot.
get the stress of that.
Yes.
And even I would take myself to a class. I'm like, I just need a sauna today, but I
Uh-huh.
have to do this class, So
Yes.
you're right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
go sit in my car and go get Joe early from school and put my little sun visor on and just like close my eyes for like 30 minutes and take a nap. You just do what you got to do. So,
Yeah.
but just proud that I made it through all that and still got my head about me a little bit. And I just actually I just feel really good about starting these new classes for women. It just feels like I'm starting.
Isn't that exciting?
Which is a weird thing.
Oh, I
So
love
at first,
it though.
there was a gal who was a trainer at Gold's Gym. Loved her, and she was in her mid-50s. And I remember thinking, God, I hope I'm not doing that when I'm 55. Seriously. And now I'm like, okay, here we are, still here. But I love it. And,
When it's your passion, how can you stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an episode that we talk about in success, and I reference in there, like, there's many, many stories of success that you don't think about, like how old they were when they got started. Like we talked about Julia Child, like some of the most successful like people didn't even start until they were over 50.
Right.
Like more than you can imagine. And it's just inspirational. Yeah. Like to hear you saying, like, it feels like I'm just getting started and I love it. And just for people to remember, like it's never too late, both to get started in business, but also to work on yourself. Yeah. Take care of your physical health.
Exactly. Oh, I love it.
I would say too, the one really amazing thing about being an entrepreneur is you can totally reinvent yourself. At any time you're like, I don't like this. I still like the fitness industry, but I'm going to scrap this working out with men. I'm only going to work out with women or whatever your thing is, right? So for you, I bet that feeling of like, it's so exciting is just like, wow, I get to try all these new things and there's no handcuffs as to like what I can and can't do. It's really amazing when you get to do that and being an entrepreneur. Yeah,
and deciding how to tailor the way you build your business to suit your needs. Right. When do you want to work? How often do you want to work? Right. And just to be able to share your amazing wealth of knowledge and keep sharing it. We're lucky to have you.
No, I don't think I have any until you start talking to, like you guys. They're like, oh, I guess I have been around a few years and got this going. Yeah.
I might know a couple things.
I know, right? Yeah,
It's one of the reasons we wanted to interview women on this podcast is to honor and celebrate like success, knowing that we are all often so humble and don't think about it and don't talk about it. But we want you to talk about it. And so that's why we're so happy to have guests join us and
I love it.
And share their stories.
Great.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are doing great. I love it.
Well, is that a wrap?
I think that's
Monique,
a wrap.
Anna, anything else you want to share?
I don't think so.
Well, we'll link to how to find Anna McGee and AP training and
if you're
Fit
in the
for Life.
Yes, if you're in the Duluth area, please like find her, or Duluth Superior, whatever, wherever we live here. Please find her. She's amazing. If you're a guy, I guess you can still find her, but
she'll try to make time. And then online too, in her Fit for Life program. So we'll make sure that all that information is available for our listeners.
We just schedule another fit day.
Another fit day. We'll try to be there.
Yes, I know I'll be there.
Well, I feel I have now even more accountability to walk down the street.
Right. I will expect.
We got this. I could even get there mostly in the skywalk. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Anna. This was such an honor to hold space with you today.
Yes.
It was really great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers, friends. You've just finished another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed the show, and if you loved it, we would love if you'd leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. You can find links to leave that review in the show notes, where you'll also find other resources that we reference on our show. And if you think a friend could find value in today's episode or any future episodes, please share this episode with them on social media. This is one of the only ways the podcast can organically grow, and we just can't wait to connect with you and all of your besties. You can also find Monique and I on our many social media platforms or our websites, and we're going to leave links to those in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing our hearts and souls with you again next time. With Heart, I'm Mariah.
And with Soul, I'm Monique.